Hello scrapbookers, this is Megan and I am back today with my very first layout for the month of July with our For the Love of Homemade kit series. Again, I'm doing this challenge with Khristina and Felicia. Hannah is also participating, but she's in the middle of a move, so she's not actually going to be making any layouts with this kit this month. So here, when I start my layout, I have an idea in mind. So there was a layout that I saw Maggie Milo, who is Lisa, on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere, YouTube and everything. She made a layout at a crop recently that I just adored. And it basically, what it was she just layered a bunch of papers on top of each other, and then her picture went in the middle, I believe. So here I'm attempting to do this layout, but I wanted to make sure that I was going to have enough papers to make 4 layouts for this whole kit. So here I'm trying to conserve paper, so you can see me cutting out the middles of papers and all of that stuff. So here I'm going to kind of screw up this part, and it's going to kind of frustrate me. So you're going to see me like freaking out with my hands a lot on this layout, I think. So here I'm going to use this teal paper that has the plus signs on it, and I'm going to use it there in the middle. So I'm just cutting it down to be a little bit smaller because I didn't want it to be quite so big. So here I'm just going to mark where I want to make my cuts on that paper so that I can cut the middle out, and I'm going to cut it, I think I cut it too small or too short or something. So it's not going to work out, and it's going to frustrate me a lot. Okay, so here I set it down, and it's just a teeny, you can see my hands go, it's just a teeny tiny too small. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to make it work. So here I'm adding the glue to the inside of that frame, and I break it. I ripped the freaking paper in half. Well, just the corner in half, I guess. But I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to do it. So here I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm going to add a white sheet of paper just to give it stability because of that rip, but then no, I didn't really like the way that looks. So I'm just going to glue it down, and it's not going to work out, and I'm totally going to flip out, you guys. Like totally. Prepare for some craziness here. So I set it down, and it doesn't set down right where I want it. It's not in the perfect spot. So I set it down again, and it didn't work, and then you can see I totally ripped it in half. So here I'm like, okay, well, crap, what did I now do? I totally ruined this whole thing. So I pulled out that white piece of paper again, and I'm just going to just build my layout on top of there. I kind of scrapped the idea of scrap lifting Maggie Milo, which is fine because I can scrap lift her another time because I really do like that layout. Okay, so here I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'll use this corner piece. I've seen a lot of scrapbookers doing that lately where they use a corner piece on underneath their whole layout, but I decided I didn't really like the way that looked, so I was thinking, okay, I'm just going to use this red little pattern paper frame thing, whatever you want to call it, and then also that plus sign pattern paper. And I really like these two colors together. They look really, really pretty together. So here I must have turned my paper a different way or something because it actually fit. So I don't know what I did before that the plus sign paper wasn't fitting on top of that red one. So here I'm just matting my photo, and if you remember those pieces of paper that I just ripped apart because I got so angry, I decided to kind of piece them together to make a makeshift mat for my photo. So here I'm just using that yellow paper that has the hexagons on it, and I really do like how this turns out. You can't even really tell that this whole mat is pieced together. So that's going to take just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to glue it all down onto that green chevron paper that's off to the side. So there, I'm going to glue it down, And I'm going to cut off the top of that. And then I'm going to place it right there in the middle. Okay, so now this is where I realize, oh dang, there's a mark on the red paper from where I was marking. And then I didn't pay attention to the markings anyway. So I don't know why I bother marking my papers because oftentimes I just ignore it anyway. So there's like this little black mark on the red paper that you can see. So here I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to just put the photo on top of that mark. But I don't really like the way it looks. So you can see me tapping my fingers, tapping my fingers, tapping my fingers. Pull out some washi tape thinking, oh, maybe I can use that. Nope, I'm not going to use that. I did pull out some texture paste, so I'm thinking I might do that. I'm going to pull out some of these little ephemera pieces from the ephemera pack that I put in my kit. The one on the top there that I keep pulling up is numbers. I think it goes from 0 to 9. So I thought that might be kind of cute. Here I had this die cut, and I believe that's from the Maggie Holmes Shine collection. It says Dream. So I'm going to use that up there for the title. And then this is where I decide, okay, yes, I'm going to use this Shimmers texture paste. I think it's just called dimensional paste. So I used that in a couple different spots on the layout. And you can see that there on the right or left hand side of the layout, I got a smudge on my layout. So I was like, oh, great. Now I have a freaking smudge on my layout. So here I'm just going to use the excess dimensional paste to make it look intentional. And it actually turns out okay. I mean, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but it works. There are small little things you can do when you ruin a page, right? So here I still had more, and I didn't want to put extra around the layout, so I am going to put it all around these embellishments, which I really don't like in the end. I kind of wish that I hadn't done it, but you can't really take it back now. So here I'm just still going to town on my layout, getting more black paint. Okay, so let's see. And it takes a long time for these Shimmers dimensional paste to dry. These ones are called Dazzlers. And I also have ones called Textures, which I think are a little bit more like modeling paste, I guess, or molding paste. But this one is a little bit runnier, I guess you could say. It still is pretty thick, but not quite so much. So here I'm just using my Stampin' Up! Heat gun to try to make the paint dry faster, but it doesn't. It takes a long time for it to dry. I might have to cut a little bit of this out. But that's the only downside to these Shimmers paints and things is it takes forever to dry. Usually I have to leave it like overnight because I just get so impatient. So I'm still drying. And here I'm going to set it down and take a break for a little while. So let's see, what am I going to do now? I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I just made this layout a couple nights ago and I still can't remember what I did. Oh, goodness. Oh, yes. Okay, so I pull out my, goodness, I think it's called Barn Red, Close to My Heart ink. And I like the way that looks, so I'm just going to ink up the edges of these embellishments. I just felt like the black was too much, and so I wanted to add another color. So I'm going to add another color. And then I realized I hadn't done this tag, so I am going to kind of smear on some black paint from around the layout. Doesn't turn out that great, but it's okay. I still like it. So I'm just going to set that there. I think I'm going to try to do some more drying in a minute. Here I'm just wiping off my finger because I keep using my fingers with the paint. It's just, sometimes it's just easier to use your fingers instead of getting out like a paintbrush or, whatever else you want to use. So here I'm doing my heat gun a little bit more. and I think it's still a little bit wet. So I'm still nervous about putting my photo down. So I'm going to do some more drying. Fun stuff, right? This layout is actually really fun. I really like how it turned out. At first I was just like so frustrated and just it wasn't turning out how I wanted to, but after adding all of the dimensional paste and the photos and embellishments, I really like it. Okay, so here I am just kind of ruffling up the edges. I'm going to glue down the photo. I don't think the paint was all the way dry, but I was just getting impatient, so just going to be really careful. Here I'm going to add just a little bit onto the edges of the photo so that it all correlates with the whole layout. And then I'm going to put down, I think I'm going to start gluing down those embellishments. And I'm going to fiddle with this for a while. I really liked that butterfly and then that tag that says just lovely, but I kind of wanted them to like meld together. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I wanted them to kind of overlap, but I still wanted the words just lovely to be readable. So I'm going to fiddle with this butterfly forever. I don't know if you guys do that, but I kind of do that a lot. If you have an idea of something that you want and it's not working, I still try to make it work. Okay, so now I'm going to use my Tombow Aqua Glue in my fine line bottle to glue down this little leaf thing, whatever it's called, ephemera piece, I guess. And then I'm going to glue down the tag, the Just Lovely tag. And see, I told you, a lot of fiddling. Fiddle. Okie dokie. That butterfly was the glue on it. For some reason it kept lifting up, so I don't know why. It's not lifting up anymore. Like it's stuck down to the page. So I don't know why it wasn't sticking. Okay, now I'm going to turn to this sticker sheet. There's this one that says, let's not forget this. So I am going to stick that up there at the top right-hand corner. And I couldn't find my baking powder tool, whatever it's called, the powder tool. And so you could see me like pulling it on and off of my fingers because I wasn't quite sure if I wanted it there, but it actually does stay there, so it's fine. So here I'm going to do my title, and the title is going to be Dream On Baby. And I really wanted to have the title go across the top there, but I didn't really like how the O and the N looked. So I'm going to bring it down, and it's going to be kind of overlapping the photo, which at first really bothered me. I didn't like that it was on top of Tinian's head. This is my youngest son, and this was, I think, the day after he was born. But I didn't really like it being right on top of his head, and so I'm going to kind of fiddle with that forever. I consider moving it down, but the word dream was too big, and then I'm going to consider moving the word on down on the bottom, so it was just dream on, but I didn't like how separated that looked. So I'm going to move on for a minute. I'm looking through the ephemera pack that I have that I put in the kit. Here is this little cut apart piece that says Precious on it, and I really like the way that looks. And then I'm also going to pull out this little banner tag that says Love, and I'm going to just glue that love one down right underneath the word Precious, and I really like that. I'm thinking I'm going to put my my date right underneath the word love, but I really wasn't sure if it was the day he was born or the day after, so I kind of wanted to figure that out before gluing it down, or stamping it out, I guess. I'm kind of anal like that. I like to have the right date on there. Even if it's within a day or two that I'm off, I still, like, it just drives me crazy. If I know that the date is off, it will literally make me go insane. I'm weird, I know. If you're like that too, please tell me in the comments, because it's frustrating, but I just can't live, like that. Okay, so now I'm just gluing down the word on right underneath dream. And I'm almost done with this layout. Here I am, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I think I walked away. So enjoy this little pause while we wait for me to come back. I might have to delete some of it because who knows how long I'm going to be gone for. But anyway, make sure that you go on over to Felicia and Christina's channels today as well. I will leave links below to their channels so that you can go and watch the videos that they made for their first layout for this month's kit. Okay, it looks like I'm back. I'm pulling out the texture paste again. because I wanted the D to stand out a little bit more because it was right up against that red paper and it was almost the same color as the dream, the word. So I wanted it to stand out a little bit. Now I am going to use these teal thickers from this Life in Color sheet. And I'm going to spell out the word baby. So the title is going to be Dream On Baby. And I believe that is the end of this layout. So here I just kind of play around with the placement because I really didn't want it going onto Tinian's head so much. But in the end, I was like, you know what? That's where it works. I'm going to do it. So I did it. So that is the end. Thanks so much for watching. And I hope that you will stop by again next week to see my second layout with this kit. Have a great scrappy day. Bye.